The Dark Ages lasted roughly from 500 to 1000 AD. It was a period of famine, plague, and war. Overall, the Dark Ages were an odd period in history. Things were looking bleak from the Black Death to community uprisings. But there were some strange aspects of life back then that are often overlooked, and we couldn't figure out why because some of them are quite strange. Hey guys, what's up? It's your channel, The Juicy Truth. If you are new to our channel, then hit that subscribe button and bell icon so that you may never miss an update. Today in this video, we're here to show you some bizarre snippets from life after the fall of Rome and before the Renaissance. So let's start counting down the top 4 Dark Age traditions that will astound you. Number 4. Death Cage. It becomes immediately obvious from examining historical punishments that people in the past simply enjoyed witnessing others suffer or die. It is extremely strange and unnerving, and it is undoubtedly not suitable for the weak of heart. The death cage was just one of the many gruesome punishments that were applied in the Dark Ages. The person would be stripped and locked in an iron cage that was placed somewhere that would be visible to everyone, so this was essentially one execution technique that was very public. The condemned person would then be imprisoned there with no access to food or water, and everyone would simply watch as they slowly died. Unbelievably messed up in a variety of ways for sure. However, occasionally, to make matters even worse, the condemned person would also be covered in milk and honey, attracting insects as well, only to make the process of dying worse. We're just grateful those times are behind us. Number 3. Color coordination. In the Middle Ages, people took their appearance and color seriously, having regulations regarding the colors, styles, and hats you could wear, all of which depended on your profession or social standing. For some professions, certain colors were forbidden. Imagine being prohibited from wearing certain styles or colors because you worked at night, for instance. That is funny. Velvet was not permitted by English law in the 15th century for knights or anyone below a knight, which is so absurd and hilarious. And this one you may already know. Purple was a fashionable color back then. Since the beginning of time, purple has been linked to royalty. Because natural purple dye was uncommon in medieval Europe, mixing different colors was seen as evil and unnatural. They therefore missed out on purple for a considerable amount of time because they didn't want to mix goods, if we can say that. Number 2. Meddler. Yes, the Dark Ages were a perilous time. Thus, one could only speculate about how challenging it must have been for a merchant who travels the countryside in order to make a living. When breeding in the wild, you think, oh, thank God, there's that one guy who has everything I need. How convenient is that? Awesome. But real life isn't like that. Traveling from village to village during the Middle Ages wasn't simple. You couldn't just order an Uber and just reach your destination. And chances are that you didn't have a noble steed to take you there unless you were a knight. But even so, a stranger arriving in your town to offer goods from a faraway land. Well, that sounds a little shady if you ask us. The majority of the time, locals viewed peddlers with suspicion. Even when they weren't, peddlers were frequently simply accused of being criminals. If you are liking the video so far, then don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up and share it with your friends. Now, let's continue. Number 1. Affairs of the court. If you have any knowledge of marriage in the Middle Ages, you are aware that love was frequently absent from a union. If you were in a loveless marriage, as almost everyone else at the time was, but you didn't want to beat your spouse into obedience or use any of the other divorce methods available at the time, you could turn to courtly love instead. This was reserved for members of a court, not the average household. Nevertheless, it gave the lords and ladies of the era a chance to experience love and courtship regardless of their marital status. Yes, it was a location where married people could hook up. Well, not entirely. Of course, there were established roles, and society was extremely pious. People weren't exactly hooking up then, but it became a big hit. People conversed, flirted, danced, and occasionally were even seen holding hands. Marriage is no real excuse for not loving, reads one of the rules of courtly love. So guys, there you have it. Top 4 Dark Age traditions that will leave you confused. The Dark Ages were by no means enjoyable. People were dying all the time. Wars were raging non-stop, and medicine was truly laughable. As we can see in this video, their unrest and strange beliefs gave rise to a number of odd traditions, events, and ideals. Comment down which Dark Age tradition astounded you the most. If you got a thirst for knowledge that never quits, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.